Well, I made a bottle's worth out of the powder and I'm using it like milk. So what I'm going to be doing is I have tea lattes every day. So this is my milk. Cacao, turmeric, um, cinnamon, ginger. I use like a masala mix, Himalayan salt. Um, yeah, a little pepper. I might be missing something, but and then I added some maca to it actually. It's a really nice blend, and with black tea, so I use like my Indian um, chai, uh, and yeah, I kind of do half water, half milk, and so I use Soylent as my milk. This is my second cup of the day, and it's yummy. Just had another cup of my tea with the Soylent, and it really is a great thing for me to have first thing, which I did add at first thing, because it saves me a lot of time with if I'm rushing to get work done, which I was trying to finish some schoolwork I had to do. It's Christmas Eve. I still was trying to finish schoolwork and do some tests. And so I didn't really want to like spend time getting breakfast. So adding it to my tea in the morning definitely gives me that nutrition and gives me that energy. It makes me feel like I'm not hungry because I'm, postponing eating for a little bit. So that's why I really like using it in my tea. It's kind of like, because I do kind of half water, half milk, or half Soylent, that is, it's kind of like, when you have a smoothie, but it's way too cold for smoothies. But somehow I'm gonna have ice cream later today. But I really like that I can just add it to my tea and have that um, nutrition first thing in the morning. Okay, so it's Christmas Eve and I'm gonna make some ice cream. So I am lactose intolerant and I tend to make my own vegan ice cream. And so it was either ice cream or cake, even though it's really cold. I'm in the mood for ice cream. So we're going to do that. So I have a bunch of frozen bananas that I froze yesterday. I'm doubling the recipe. Um, Usually if you're gonna make, well, I follow this recipe that's like 3 bananas, usually, so I have 6 here. I'm gonna add a 7th. And I like to have one that is not frozen to the mix. And my typical is to make peanut butter ice cream, or I like to make a chunky monkey. I'm out of pretzels right now, but I'm going to use some chocolate sauce that I just made out of organic cacao. And it was a little sugar, a little vegetable oil, and a little almond milk. I'm gonna use peanut butter, and I think I'm gonna crush up some Oreos in it too, because Oreos are vegan as well. Okay, so I don't typically measure, but so I eyeballed the vanilla because we add vanilla into the mix. You usually use a teaspoon, so since I'm doubling the recipe, I used 2 teaspoons, or I eyeballed 2 teaspoons, and if you can see that, I pretty much blended up the bananas. What I will not be eyeballing and will be measuring is the amount of Soylent, because when you make some vegan ice cream, you don't want to use more than a 1/4 cup. So since I'm doubling it, I need a 1/2 cup. So as you can see, I threw in some peanut butter. I eyeballed it again and I just tasted it. It tastes really good. You don't need to add any sweeteners, because when you freeze the bananas, you're freezing it at its ripe stage. If you want it a little more sweeter, you can add a little bit of honey or some maple syrup, but I didn't add any today. Okay, so I have 2 packages of Oreos and I've kind of crumbled them. I've never tried these golden ones, so I'm just going to throw them in the ice cream. I have a container of Talenti. I think I have another one, because again, this is going to, what I made is going to fill up 2 of these. I can't find the other one right now, so I'm going to have to put it in a bowl, but my sister buys Talenti, and so I recycle them, recycle, reduce, reuse. And so we're going to layer the ice cream mix with the chocolate mix and the Oreos. This is where we're at so far. I'm going to add another layer of the ice cream, but what's going to happen is it's going to become, basically like a Talenti layer when you scoop it up. And it's essentially healthy aside from the sugar and the Oreos. I like to be really conscious of the sugar that I have in a day. You shouldn't have more than 24 additional grams of sugar. So there is, a few grams in the Soylent, and there is maybe like 8 grams, I think, in the Oreos. But again, these 2 packages will be split across 2 bowls. Okay, so I'm gonna throw this in the freezer for about a half hour to firm up since it's been out for a while, and then to get started on the other bowl. I was showing you yesterday when I had also the Soylent as my milk for my cereal milk. I thought about having oatmeal this morning, but I just added it again to my tea. All right, so the freezer, the ice cream is now out of the freezer a little longer than I planned because I was doing something. But here we go. It's actually not really hard. It's still a nice soft serve texture. But I'm trying to see if you can see, if I can get to the layers. Yum, yum, yum. And what I like about using Soylent is the high fat content, because there's like 10 grams of fat in the Soylent. And the thing with using non-dairy milk is it's not as high as it should be to have a nice creamy texture. And that's why I use a lot of peanut butter. I tend to do my ice creams with a lot of with peanut butter because that's high fat. If you have almond milk, I think it's maybe 3 or 4 grams of fat. And I don't recall how much fat is in regular milk because it's been decades, but this one gives it a really good, thicker, creamier, more ice cream-like texture. And again, this is just bananas, really. Bananas, some vanilla, some Soylent, and some peanut butter, and then obviously a bit of cookie. And so this is how I like to use my Soylent. And let's give it a taste. Yeah, this is really good. And you know what? The people that are in my life that actually, eat regular ice cream, they're not vegan or lactose intolerant, they love my ice cream. So my favorite way to use the Soylent, out of all the ways that I use it, this is my favorite. All right, thanks.